You got to remember that this is a cycle and a process. Everybody goes through it. We all have moments that we love our job, and we all have moments where we question, what are we doing and why am I doing this? Do you have moments in time when you don't love the job you're in? You're like questioning, is this really what I want? Is this really what I thought this was going to be? And what do you do with that information? So this is probably a pretty normal process for most of us. And you've probably gone through ups and downs in different parts of your career where you've said, this is absolutely what I want to do, and then not so much. This isn't really what I was looking for. So when these moments happen, I think you need to really be considerate of what does make you feel reconnected to the job you're in and why you're doing what you're doing. One thing for me that I really like doing is I find I like being involved in different conferences and having conversations with other people. And by doing that and networking, I seem to get a bit of a new energy that I quite enjoy. Now, this might be your thing, this might not be your thing, and that's fine, but I do think you want to know what are some things that work for you. So some things that I want to be able to provide for you include thinking about, go back to when you felt a win at work. Whether it's something like you contributed something and the CEO took that forward and that really went to market, or you really helped a colleague, or you had a great conversation with a manager and you coached someone, you paid it forward. So maybe there is a win that you need to remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing. Maybe reconnect with what is the bigger picture. So maybe the role you're in today isn't your dream job, but it's in an industry you're learning about, or something you feel that you are really helping to contribute to the world, something that makes you feel like you have a benefit that is beyond what you're doing. So consider that point for a minute. Just reconnect with, like, why did you take this job in the first place? There are some things there that are still available to you to be mindful of as you are kind of moving through this. There is a why behind why you made this decision. So think about what that is. Another thing that can be really helpful is talk to someone new. Is there someone new in the organization that you potentially haven't chatted with before, or go out and have a coffee with them? Sometimes talking to someone who has new energy in an organization can actually help you feel really motivated and remind you about all the things that you love about the organization too. That's the thing, right? As you've stayed in a space for a long time, sometimes the things that used to look really pretty from the outside, as you move into the inside, they get a little dull. So what can you do to remind yourself that these things are pretty exciting of what you're doing? And finally, I want you to think about, like, how are you paying this forward? We all know, and studies show, that when you help to pay forward someone else, it makes you feel really good. So even if you have a boss that you don't love, or you're stuck in a position, you're not getting to move forward, or you're not really seeing the results of projects you're working on, remember, like, what was it that you made the choice for in the first place? And then how can you make sure that what you're doing is actually paying it forward in somewhere else? And I think that's something to really think through. And it might not be as obvious as you realize, but if you stop for a minute and really think about that, like, what does that really look like? There's probably some real goodness in there that can spark something for you to help re-energize you in your workplace. At the end of the day, you got to remember that this is a cycle and a process. Everybody goes through it. We all have moments that we love our job, and we all have moments where we question, what are we doing and why am I doing this? And this can be a result of not just you making all the effort. It could also be the result of, a boss that made a decision that you didn't love, or a budget cutback, or an economic reality, or, counts lost or wins. These things happen that are sometimes out of our control. And it's really how we decide to come up to the table with whatever that decision is going to be, to say, today I'm going to choose to find the best in today that I can, and that's going to be good enough for today. And then tomorrow I'm going to do the same thing. And if you slowly build that over time, you'll start to find the spark again. There's a spark of why you should be working and why you love the job you do. If after all of this, you still have no spark, and you're still feeling, oh, this is not for me, then I want you to think about why. If at this point you are still not sure of why you're still in the job you are and you're unhappy, why is that? And how can you help yourself to find a new way, to find something else? Because you deserve to love what you do, You deserve to be respected. You deserve to have a voice. You deserve to make an impact. And you should love it. As an overall trend, a job is something that you should love what you're doing. And if you're not, and sometimes even in the day-to-day it doesn't work, but if there's some things that you're like, overall this still isn't for me, then you need to really be considerate of, is this the right position for you at this point in your life? There's always a why to the way. So think about how your life is shaping up and how you can help question the why to make sure that you can find your way.